Afternoon, everybody. Cooter here. Hey, I'm wiring up this chase light for my buddy Kobe on his Jeep. And I thought, hey, it's kind of cool. I mean, a lot of people may not know some of the tools that we use here and some of the finer, smaller electrical connectors and crimpers and things. So I figured I'll give you a quick little video. I'm going to film it now. And then once it's all wired up and installed and done, do a little video on all the different modes of this light, okay? So here goes. So what I'm putting on the back of this JK is this Rigid Industries chase light. This one happens to be a red one, which is, I guess, mostly for the strobing part. They also come in yellow and blue. That's what it looks like. We got it all mounted to the license plate bracket, and it came with about 6 feet of wire. I cut it short. I'm putting a plug in here. So this is a GM, and I'll show you this in a minute. It's a MetraPack 150 series sealed plug. So I'll show you that in just a second. I've got a whole kit for all these. But what I did was, and this is the part that takes the time, crimped on male pins onto these 6 wires. And I did test the light, so it has 5 different modes. The black is just the ground. I'll show you all of those once it's all hooked up. But basically, it's going to give him a third brake light. It's going to give him a tail light. It's going to give him license plate illumination under here, and it has a strobing, red strobing, I think this one is red, strobing feature that he can use for a rear warning light. It also has a very bright backup light built into here. I think those are the 5 modes. So anyway, a couple of the tools I use for doing this kind of stuff. I'll bring this over here. Bear with me 1 second. Let me gather some stuff up here. All right, so I've got a set of these. These are made by, well, it says Delphi, and they've got a GM part number on them. Let me see if we can focus in on that. There you go. These are, of course I locked them, made to hold the pins. I don't have an assistant today, so I'm kind of doing this single-handedly. Stand by 1 second. Okay, back with you here. I got a pin jammed in there because I wasn't paying attention. So these are made specifically for these little GM MetraPack pins. These things are great. I love them. They're way better than a butt connector or something like that. These do seal. There's a whole bunch of different cable seals in here depending on the size. The ones I've been using on this application, the 16 to 18s fit pretty good. I probably could have used the 2022s. These wires are, I think they're probably 20 gauge, so I probably should have used these. But these fit nice and snug, the blue ones, so not a problem. Yeah, I've got an assortment of male and female, or actually these are technically the male shells. These are the female shells. They take the female pins. The male shells take the male pins. Funny how that works. 2 to 6, I think, is what I have in here now. So these are 6 pin. I have to order a few more of those. Anyway, the crimpers, these crimpers are pretty expensive, but they are designed to crimp these pins. And the way they work is, and this would be easier if I had someone to hold the camera. Basically, the pin goes down in here. I'm not really sure I can do this single-handedly, but we'll give it a try. There's a little spring-loaded mechanism there. So you load the pin down in there. You can see how it's flush The tip is sticking out the other side just a little bit. And you insert the wire with the cable seal already on it. Stripped wire, about a 1/4 inch or so of wire showing down in there. Give it a good crimp. And it basically does both crimps. If you notice on these, it's easier to see it finished on the wire. There's 2 crimp tangs on there. Camera's not focusing so good today. The bigger one grabs the cable seal. The smaller inner one, by my dirty Cooter's thumbnail right there, holds the wire. So if you look at this one here, these are done. That's what they look like finished. All right. So I'll finish pinning out the other half of I'm going to use the other half of this harness. So there'll be a disconnect here so that he can pull that off and pull his spare tire off. Okay. And then I'm going to tie everything into factory wiring and run one more wire up to the front so he can run his chase light on one of his unused, I think that's an S-Pod up there. So he's got a bunch of switches up there. Wants one of them, the last one that's not used, to run that rear chase light. So I'll show you all that once it's done. All right, Cooter here. Just wanted to give you a quick little wrap up on the rear chase light install, and I'll show you the skid plate in a minute. I'll get this back up in the air. Okay, Colin, hit the brakes. All right, so you got that center mounted brake light. Yep, headlights or parking lights. Okay, does that. And it's got the license plate light under it. It's got his license plate covered to protect his, privacy. Chase light. Boom. And then throw that thing in reverse. Watch your eyeballs. All right, so that's it. All modes are hooked up and working. Very cool. And let me turn the shop lights back on here. Because this comes off, it's on like a 1-inch post. To remove it, you saw this earlier when I was doing the install and crimping all the wires. It's got a 6-wire plug. I fed the cable through the factory. Let me see if we can get in there and see it. The factory grommet in the back door, and it made all the rest of the connections in here. So it should keep them protected. All right, so that's it. That's the chase light install on the JK. Come back in a minute. I'll get this thing up in the air. I'll show you how I did the skid plate, how I fixed that. Okay, just like that, we're back. It's actually only been about a minute since the last video, so we are back instantly. Let's see, where did we leave off? This skid plate here. So he got a new transfer case skid, and he had this existing engine skid, which is pretty caved in. But short of replacing it and to make it work, what I ended up doing was 2 of the holes lined up here and here and went through into the cross member. I'm not sure these were originally designed to be overlapped like this, but that's how we're doing it now. This skid plate goes all the way to the front of the cross member. So since 2 holes were in common to both cross members, and the third one, I torch cut the hole. The nice thing about that is you can bolt this one up with 1 bolt here, and then swing this into position. And to make it easier to line up, what I did was I took a couple 12mm by 1.5 pitch bolts that I had, cut the heads off, put a little bevel on them, and threaded them up into here in place of that bolt, and then one over here. So I had these 2 hanging down from the cross member. I swung this up into position, put a screw jack under this to hold it up, and then carefully, one at a time, unscrewed the bolt, or the guide pin and replaced it with a bolt. And the nice part is this bolt is also threaded into the same nut plate, so that holds everything at least more or less in position. Made that real easy to do. I'm gonna give Kobe these to go in his Jeep for if he ever has to drop this for a trail repair. These actually made a ton of difference. So if you're having trouble lining up your skid plates, just consider doing something like this. It made life a lot easier. All right, that pretty much wraps this thing up. I'm gonna get it off the lift, and he'll be picking it up. Cooter out.